Hi all, this is Allmighty and welcome to this video. So since it is the last day of the GRENKE Chess Classic and we have a winner, I decided to show you the final game that actually brought the winner of the tournament up front. And this is Fabiano Caruana. In this last game in the last round of the GRENKE Chess Classic, he is playing against Nikita Vitiugov, a very strong Russian chess grandmaster. So actually while we're talking about him, he is a guy who actually won. He was leading the first part of the tournament. He was actually the only guy who won the game in the first round. And yeah, in Karlsruhe, the place where the first three rounds were played, he was actually feeling pretty good because with 2.5 out of 3 he was leading the tournament. But when they moved after the rest day in Baden-Baden, he kind of went on the drawing spree and in a sense, yeah, just waited and waited, but Caruana in the meantime picked up a point in here and there, and in the end he won the tournament. And he won it in style, so with a win in the last round of the tournament, and this is a game that I will show you in a minute now. But first I wanted to touch on a couple of points. This tournament, yeah, was kind of different from the candidates. It added a different spice. You had players with a lot of different backgrounds. On one hand, you had one of the strongest players in the world, like Fabiano Caruana and Magnus Carlsen, actually battling amongst each other, showing the people of the world, of the chess world, who is actually like the best player at the moment in chess. Besides them, we had Levon Aronian also coming from the candidates, kind of still recovering from the candidates because he had quite a bad tournament there. But here he was somewhere in the middle, so not a bad result. Besides them, we had Vishy Anand and Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, players who a lot of people actually wanted to be featured on the candidates, but ended up not being there. And yeah, they kind of went on and played the tournament right after the candidates here in the GRENKE Chess Classic. They also had some nice results. Besides them, we had the strongest woman chess player, Hou Yifan. We had some local players like Matthias Bluebaum and Georg Mayer, and also the man of many internationalities, which is Arkady Naiditch, former Latvian chess player, then a German chess player, and last but not least, Azerbaijani chess player. So, as I said, a different spice in this tournament than from the candidates, and a lot to look forward to. The tournament was played in 9 rounds, and in the end, Caruana won. So, what does this mean actually? Does this mean that Caruana is now the best player in the world? No, it doesn't. Does this mean that Caruana is a better player than Magnus? No, it doesn't. This is actually just kind of making a statement. When looking forward to the November and actually to that match that I'm going to cover on this channel, it is just a way of thinking what will actually happen then. As we all know, Caruana is a very strong chess player. He has a lot to show for, but yeah, this doesn't mean that yeah, he is the best player just because he won one tournament right after the candidates where Magnus was also playing. So Magnus actually had a really good chance to win a game against him. So in that video, which I made on April Fools when I talked in Croatian, when nobody actually understood me, what I was saying, yeah, there I spoke of many chances, and actually Carlsen was in a very difficult rook endgame where he needed to find a win to actually win. And that would also stir up a lot of conversation and a lot of comments about the two. But now people will say, okay, first, if Carlsen won the tournament, that people would say, yeah, Caruana was tired from the candidates, you know, he played a lot of games there, and no wonder that he didn't win because, yeah, he was tired and blah blah blah. But on the other hand, now people will probably saying, okay, Carlsen was a lot of time on a vacation. He still isn't in full gear coming back to the chess tournaments. He missed that opportunity for round 1 against Caruana, and now we see that Caruana is a better player, blah blah blah. But none of this means actually anything. We all still need to wait for that November match, and looking forward to that. I'm actually, yeah, just waiting for the tournaments where the players will play, because most of the people want to watch them. They are the most exciting, and yeah, you can just watch, lay back and enjoy. So yeah, that being out of the way, I will just show you the game which brought the triumph of the GRENKE Chess Classic to Fabiano Caruana. Vitiugov plays e4, and Caruana responds with e5. Knight to f3 and knight to f6, going for the Petroff. And Caruana also, when playing these tournaments and playing these games, leads some kind of a psychological war. Now, as we all know, it kind of became popular after the candidates that Caruana played a lot of Petroff there, also a couple of games here. Yeah, it's kind of difficult to go with e4 against Caruana, because it seems that when he plays the Petroff, he tends to win the games. Starting from that game with Kramnik, and now also finishing with this game with Vitiugov, going into some not yet fully analyzed variations, and yeah, just going for the wins and for some advantages. For a longer period of time, Petroff was actually considered to be a drawn game, but now since Caruana started playing it, now everybody wants to play it. And let's just see what Vitiugov had in store for Caruana here. He played d4, knight to e4, and now we have d captures on e5. d5, the only sensible move, defending the knight, and now you have a decision. Will you en passant, or will you play something else? Here Vitiugov played knight from b to d2, and now once again a strange move by Caruana, queen to d7. Yeah, this move is just, yeah, you know, I guess it kind of makes sense if knight captures on e4, d captures on e4. You don't want to have a queen on d8, because after queen exchanges, yeah, the king will come on d8, and then knight to g5, attacking on f7 and on e4 at the same time, winning a pawn. So queen to d7 isn't a move without a purpose, but it's definitely a move you wouldn't imagine playing like one of the first moves in the opening, especially putting it right in front of the bishop. Now it seems that there's a clear plan of playing b6, bishop to b7 at some point. So we have bishop to d3 here. And knight to c5, you don't want to give up his knight, and also you're attacking now this bishop. Bishop goes back to e2, and we have g6. Bishop g7, castles will look like a really nice setup for black here. We have knight to b3 and knight to e6. So Caruana decided to keep his pieces as long as possible in the game, something that Karpov and Petrosian would be really proud of. We have bishop to e3 and now c5, striking in the center and occupying a lot of space in the center. So black's position looks really good here, and this is just after a couple of moves in the opening, and also with playing queen to d7. So we have knight to g5. Vitiugov wants to simplify the position. We have b6, knight captures on e6, and f captures on e6. After kingside castle, the f file is open. So we have a4, expansion on the queen side, and bishop to b7. We have castles by white, and now bishop to h6. When you look into this position, you want to develop this bishop. What is the most actually, oh sorry, first knight to c6, sorry for that. I want to develop the knight, attacking this pawn, and also kind of guarding the a5 push. We have f4, and now bishop to h6. Yeah, now when you think about it, you want to develop this bishop, and where is the best square to do it? You can put it on g7, maybe. You will have it in front of the king, but it won't do anything. So essentially it's a pawn. If you put it on e7, it won't be in front of the king. You will have holes when you go kingside castle, but maybe you will have the most squares to go to. But if you play bishop to h6, it is actually a move with a purpose. Now you're pressuring on f4, and there are some ideas at some point after going kingside castle, having a lot of pressure on f4 will bring probably some weaknesses to white. So we have a5 now. Vitiugov also wants to create his advantages on the queen side. We have knight to e7, having a very good outpost for the knight on f5. And now, can you play g4? Doesn't seem too good, because after d4 this diagonal is open, it will be in front of the king, and after knight to d5, having lots of pressure here doesn't look too good. So instead of playing g4, bishop to g4 was played to actually stop knight to f5 right away. We have d4, bishop to c1, and castles. Now queen to d3, bishop to d5, with an idea pushing the c4, and now queen to h3. Also a good move in bishop to d5, because now this pawn is defended twice. Bishop to g7 because the bishop was attacked, and now knight to d2, moving out of the way. We have knight to f5 finally, and now actually white could have just went for this, because if rook takes, then then yeah, you have to think about this whole forced variation where knight in the end comes on c4, attacks on b6, and also threatens to jump on d6, attacking this rook, and also, yeah, allowing to open this diagonal for the queen, attacking on e6. Definitely something that maybe you don't want to do. And if you capture with the g pawn, you have an open g file. Rook to a3 looks like an idea, then rook to g3. And if you capture with the e pawn, then white has a passed e pawn. So yeah, there is a lot of things to consider, but in the end here Vitiugov played c4 and kind of wanted to open up the position, and Caruana accepts this. He captures, and rook from a to d8. Now the pawns get exchanged because now, okay, there is no exchange of the rooks on the a file, and rook comes on e1. Knight to e4 will be the idea, and now b5. Knight to e4, and after this we have queen to g7, defending this pawn, and knight to g5, attacking on h7, h6, and knight to f3. The thing is now that black has these two pawns on the queen side. He will probably take advantage of that and create a pass pawn, and on the other hand, white needs to find a way how to actually attack. In this position, bishop to c6 was played to open up the d file in order this rook can come somewhere along these lines. We have bishop captures to f5 finally, and yeah, of course, in this position, if h5 is played, the bishop isn't trapped, you can simply capture on f5. So yeah, after bishop to c6, we have bishop captures on f5 and g captures on f5. Caruana went for opening up of the g file, but in a sense here, the biggest problem in Caruana's position is this bishop, because it is essentially a pawn. It doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't do anything. The only thing he does actually is defending this h6 pawn. So the other pieces are very well put, but yeah, there is this problem of this bishop, and he needs to think about it. But here, actually, Vitiugov played bishop to e3, and he allowed a rook to d3, attacking this pawn. So yeah, he does attack on c5, but by playing rook to d3, yeah, allowing to attack this weak c pawn, yeah, this just creates chances for white. We have rook to c1 from a to c1 and rook to a8. Now this rook will come on a2 or a3, and then black is just in a better position. So we have queen to h4. Fabiano accepts queen to h4. Also possible, a little bit better, was bishop to f8, because then when queen captures on e7, bishop captures on e7, and a bishop is a much better bishop on e7 than on g7. But Fabiano went for the queen exchange right away. Knight captures on e4, and now c4. I'm not going bishop to f8 right away and guarding the c5 pawn, but pushing the pawn immediately. King to f2, and now bishop to f8. Knight to f3, and here Fabiano had a chance to actually go immediately for a better position with bishop to f3, because now either g captures or king captures on f3, and after that we have rook to a3, and there is no stopping in capturing this pawn, because after bishop to d4 you have b4, and yeah, just after a couple of moves, maybe something like this, and rook to a2 also, king moves, you also have b3, and this is just a winning position for black, even though the material is equal. Yeah, this passed pawn is just something that white couldn't handle. So this was a possibility, but Fabiano didn't go for it. Instead, he played bishop to d5, defends this pawn, and moving the bishop out of the way, because the threat is knight to d4. Now we have bishop to c5. Can Vitiugov capture on b5? No, he can't, because after this you have rook to a2 check. So now if the rook defends, then bishop captures, and you have to move the king. And if the king moves, then bishop can just capture on e3, and this is just losing for white. So instead of that, Vitiugov tried one last thing. He captured knight captures on a5, but Caruana finds the best move, which is bishop to a3, attacks the rook on the other side. Knight captures on h6 with check, king to g7, and now f5, defending with the bishop the knight, but bishop captures on c1, bishop captures on c1, and after this we have rook captures on c3. Now black has two passed pawns. f6 was played with check, and king to g6. In this position, actually, Vitiugov resigned the game. Both of the players reached time control after move 40, and yeah, he just saw that he doesn't have a chance here, because rook to a2 will come and push over the b4, b3, and yeah, you just can't stop this push, and this is just a lost position. So yeah, um, a very good game by Caruana, showing again what the Petrov can do, striking the fear in the hearts of enemies when they play e4 against him, definitely. So I'm really glad that he won this game. Once again, it doesn't mean anything. Still, a lot of people will consider Carlsen being the strongest man, strongest chess player in the world. Some of the people will now consider Fabiano be strongest player in the world, but we won't know anything about it until we see the match in November. That's just pure and simple. So okay, this is one I wanted to show you. I wanted to cover at least this game, besides that April Fool's Croatian video. And yeah, this is pretty much it for the GRENKE Chess Classic, and this is pretty much it for this video. I would like to thank you for watching it, and I will see you next time.